Negotiation has been part of human nature since the beginning of time. Look, cavemen were negotiating. I don't know, it was for rocks and dinosaurs, whatever it was, but everybody negotiates. Everybody wants to negotiate. That's just how we are. That's how we're built. And we also want to feel like we win in the negotiation. It's kind of like, have you ever offered somebody some money? Hey, I'll give you $500 for this. And they look at you and say, okay, I'll take it. What's the first thing that went through your mind? I don't know about you, I'm thinking, I overpaid. I offered too much. And now you're trying to crawfish, figure out how to back out of that thing. You're like, well, okay, now I know what I can buy it for. Let me check with my wife and I'll let you know tomorrow. Because if they just said, yes, I'll take your offer, well, how do you feel? You paid too much. You didn't get a good deal. You wanted to earn it. If you appreciate things more that you earn versus things that are just given to you. And that's how it's always been. And customers are no different. Man, people want to feel like they've earned something. They want to win. They want to have victories. And it's always been that way. But if you think about the history of negotiating in our business, it's pretty much that's what selling cars was all about. I mean, old school selling, it was all about the negotiation. That's all it was. I mean, it was pretty much maybe give the customer a demo, just slam them in the closing room and gang up on them and try to close a car deal. And it was all negotiating. Hell, that's why we got such bad reputations, because it was all kinky and you could never trust what they were putting in there, packing payments and all the bull crap we went through. And then over time it evolved. And really negotiation changed in the 70s, give or take, when Pat Ryan and W. Clement Stone decided that they wanted to put insurance products into the car dealerships. Their mindset, Pat Ryan's mindset, was if you could add $200 or $300 to every car deal, imagine what that would do to the dealership's financial statement. And W. Clement Stone, he was the insurance guy, AIG, and they got together, and that's when service contracts and credit life and accident health insurance came together. And then they got the banks to start letting the dealerships print the contracts. And then they started realizing that, we need to have a better way to negotiate. Because in the past, they would give the customer a purchase order, customer would go to the bank, get their own loan, they'd bring them back a cashier's check or a chattel, and they'd take delivery of the car. Well, now that they were actually doing bank financing for the customer, one-stop shopping, now they had to figure out how to negotiate. And that's when the Foursquare was invented. Negotiating on price, trade, payment, and down payment. And everybody hears the word Foursquare and thinks that's negative. Well, reality is if you have price, payment, trade, and down payment on your worksheet, it's a Foursquare. It may not look like a Foursquare. It may be pretty. It may have multi-payments, but it's still a Foursquare. But that really started evolving the business. And then you saw really the art of negotiation start slipping away in 2008 when we had the Great Recession. And you had all the banks pulling back, and hell, we didn't want to negotiate as car dealers. We were scared that we weren't even going to have a franchise, let alone be able to negotiate with a customer for maximum down payment. Man, if a FedEx truck pulled on the lot, chances are it was a letter from the manufacturer telling you that you no longer had a point, a Chevy point or whatever it was. We really started negotiating out of fear, and we didn't want to go in and ask customers for 20% down. We didn't want to hit them at short-term financing, and in good cause. I mean, it made total sense. I couldn't spin a customer sideways. They were scared to death too at the same time. And then as the recession got better and we worked through the recession, then we started negotiating a little bit, but I think we lost a lot of really good people that understood negotiating in the car business. And then we started coming up with pretty worksheets that had multi-payments and tried to work the art of confusion for customers. And then all hell broke loose with the pandemic. Well, we all know in the pandemic, there was no negotiating. The negotiating was, we got this car. Do you want it? If you don't, somebody's going to be here in 2 hours to buy it. So we never had to negotiate. Now we're moving in the post-pandemic world. Now customers are back to having advantages. Customers have choices, and now we're going to have to dial up our skills because the history of the car business and history of negotiation shows that customers are going to want to feel like they got a great deal. And we all know a great deal is a feeling, not a number. So if you look back and realize history typically repeats itself, and the old saying, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, well, we don't want to repeat the negatives of the past. We want to focus on the positives of the past.